Since episode 1 of AMC's The Walking Dead, the character of Glenn has been a supporting character, but from that, he grew to much more. He was just a simple side character, and he developed and became a fan favourite. Because of his status as one of the fan favourites along with characters such as Daryl, he gained great popularity, and we were absolutely devastated with his loss. And because of this loss, this documentary will be documenting people's thoughts of Glenn and the impact the loss of the character has had on them. So, from here on, these will be the interviews of friends of Knights of Glenn comics, as well as members of the public, and their views on the character of Glenn. No, I just wanted to do this video saying my introduction to Glenn and me setting up the Knights of Glenn comics and how I feel the show of The Walking Dead will go forwards without him. So, my first introduction to Glenn was, of course, when I started watching season 1 when I was 14, so that was 4 years ago when I started watching Walking Dead, and I watched the first 4 seasons in about 2 weeks, and then started watching season 5 when that came back. I didn't particularly like Glenn, to be honest, in season 1, as I thought he was a bit wimpish, but then over the series I saw he was having a character up, becoming a survivor similar to Rick, but even more so, as he was just a pizza delivery boy before the apocalypse, and then became a strong leader. And that's why I really feel is Glenn. He's the guy we all are inside, and what we would be like in the zombie apocalypse and how we would grow, and that's one of the reasons why I love Glenn. And that's why the channel is called the Knights of Glenn, because it's a play on the Knights of Ren from Star Wars. So Ren, Glenn. That's actually why I chose it, because Force Awakens came out in season 6 when you think Glenn dies, and I thought Glenn died. So I came up with the idea of the Knights of Glenn, even though I didn't launch it then. I came up with the idea of Knights of Glenn back in 2015 with the Knights of Ren and Glenn when I thought he died. But then I was relieved when he came back. And it wasn't really until that, when I thought he died, he was in my top 3 favourite characters, but it wasn't until I thought he actually died that it hit me at how important he is to my personal enjoyment and journey in The Walking Dead. And he, like I said, is probably the most relatable character in maybe even comic book TV adaptations, as well as in the comic. He is just so relatable. And then going on to 2016, I started Facebook, and then I started the Knights of Glenn brand, as you could say, which was the Facebook page, the Knights of Glenn comics, which was to do comics and Star Wars and The Walking Dead and stuff like that. And that's where the whole Knights of Glenn really started. And then of course Glenn died. Spoilers, but you probably know that anyway, since it was even debated in the British Parliament. So, and it was everywhere on social media and TV and stuff like that, so you probably knew about it anyway, as I only just missed a spoiler for the 2 deaths in that episode. So yeah. And it was because of that I started. Before that, I did my first continuous posts was about Glenn and how I hoped he didn't die, and who I didn't think he was gonna die. So when the first person actually dies in that episode, I was actually, even though they were my top 5 characters, the person who died, I was happy that it wasn't Glenn. But then Daryl went and got Glenn killed. So then yeah, and then after Glenn died, it really had a big impact on me, as it made me expand the Knights of Glen brand, so to say, as I extended onto Twitter, and then at the start January, no, I started in mid 2016. Before Glenn died, I started a YouTube channel, the YouTube channel Knights of Glen Comics then, but then I deleted all those videos and started again early this year, 2017, and that's when the Knights of Glen really became a thing, constant thing, part of my life. And as Glenn had been, as you know, I really loved The Walking Dead, and Glenn was a key part to that. So since his death, it's actually been, it was really weird watching the show, and it kind of wasn't the same, but even though I think the season was brilliant, and I don't really get the haters of the series, as I think it's one of the strongest seasons, especially season 7 episode 2, which is one of my favourite episodes with the Kingdom. People hated, even though I absolutely loved it. So the lack of Glenn's really been felt in the show, to be honest. But I feel the show will go on, and will go on strong without him. And yeah, that's really been the effect of Glenn before and 1 year on since his death. Oh, I forgot to mention the story of when I watched it. I got so emotional I threw up when Glenn died. If I can find the video, I might add it on to this, but I probably won't, since it's quite embarrassing. But yeah, I threw up watching it, not out of the gore, out of just upset. So yeah, that's the story of the Knights of Glen, and the impact Glenn has had on me and the channel. Viewer that goes by Loz Ree sent in this interview of their reaction and thoughts on the character of Glenn and his death. Is it okay if I ask you some questions?
Of course.
So why was Glenn your favourite character?
I personally believe Glenn was the most relatable character. He's kind, brave, and has good leadership skills.
Glenn's death make you feel when you saw or heard about it?
I was emotionally distraught. I found out over Twitter and spent the entire night crying.
Oh, very sad to hear. Last year without Glenn Ben.
Season 7 was strange without the presence of Glenn. The prospect of Glenn not being in episode 100 and the season 8 premiere is truly heartbreaking.
Yeah, because this is going to be the first season premiere without him in, as I've already said.
I don't know if I can deal with it.
Yeah, me neither. Thank you for sharing.
No problem.
Our team also took to the streets of Norwich in England to gauge the idea of the public's views on Glenn and his importance to them. Excuse me, sir. Can I ask you some questions?
Yeah.
Do you watch The Walking Dead?
Yeah, I tried to catch it on time.
Yeah. Who's your favourite character?
Well, actually, it's Grimes, but I used to like Glenn,
Why did you like Glenn?
because he was a family man, and was putting himself to work there. Thank you, I've got to go now.
How's the last... Excuse me, one more question. How's the last year been without Glenn?
It's not the same, I'm not looking forward to the new series, but hopefully Negan will get his head crushed in by Bobo Baggins. But there you go. See you later,
Thank
bye!
you.
Okay.
These people.
They said they didn't do it.
Wow.
Yeah? Would you mind? Trying for me. Okay then. Yeah. Where do you meet Chatfield? Yeah, I'll meet you in Chatfield. Okay.
Bye. Any time you wanna start.
Get me some pussy.
Excuse me. Can I ask you some questions about The Walking Dead?
Yeah.
Do you know the character of Glenn?
Yeah.
Why is he your favourite character?
Wait, who the fuck's Glenn? Sounds like a guy who needs to be had his head smashed in with a fucking baseball bat.
Hello, sir.
Hello.
Are you looking forward to the Glenn Memorial?
Yes.
And do you think it will bring a lot to this institution?
Of course, yes.
just hate
because
Glenn?
Glenn was very dear to everyone.
He was.
Hey Glenn.
Yes.
Thank you.
Just say hey Glenn.
We would like to give a huge thanks to Bright Star, who has given us the next clip. Be sure to check out her channel.
Glenn is my favourite character in The Walking Dead because he's the one that retains the most humanity throughout the entire series. I mean, he's one of the only characters who, you know, makes Rick think about stuff when he was still on the show. Because when Rick kind of went off the deep end, it was Glenn who often talked him down from doing something really, really stupid. The last year without Glenn, well, I only got into the series of Walking Dead fairly late on. I didn't get to see it the first time it came round because I was still quite young when it first came round, so my parents wouldn't let me. But just before season 7 started, I binge-watched the entire series, and I really grew attached to the character of Glenn. He was like my favourite character in most programs I've seen. How's the show going to go forward without him? Well, I will say there isn't a person to keep Rick in check when he goes off the deep end as much anymore. I mean, you've still got other characters and everything, and I think Maggie as well, the character of Maggie, without Glenn, she was really sad to begin with, but now that they have their child, still has a piece of
Glenn
him around.
Lantern of the Knights of Glen has also provided a video for this documentary.
Hello. Do you watch The Walking Dead?
I have seen some episodes, yes. Over the last few months I've been watching more and more, and I've been really enjoying it. So yeah.
Do you like the character of Glenn?
I do. He's really sort of influential. He's really kind. He cares about everyone, and only does what's best. Only thinks about himself after everyone else is cared for. So yeah.
How? You obviously didn't watch the show when he died. So how was it knowing he was going to die when you started watching the show?
Yeah, as you say, I didn't know Glenn that well, but in the short time I did watch and I did know him, I felt a really deep connection, and it just made that, even because I knew what was going to happen, but it just made it even worse because of how deep and awesome he was. So, yeah.
Is there anything else you'd like to say about Glenn and his impact on you, and what drew you to the Knights of Glen comics?
Well, I sort of think that he's one of my favourite Walking Dead characters. He's really, caring, as I said. And I don't know what first drew me to Knights of Glen, but I just felt a deep connection, and I wanted to be a part of this, so yeah.
Our way to the first annual Glenvention, and I'm really looking forward to this, to catch up with the rest of the Knights of Glen, talking about the character of Glenn. And this is going to be so great. And I'm going to be recording this so you can see it. So, hope you enjoy. Calling in at the Glenvention. We had a bit of a problem setting up our location, as I'm about to show you. We put together using our ingenuity because it's broken.
This is me reporting in from the Glenvention. It's going pretty well so far. We've had a lot of chats about Glenn, haven't we? Glen 10. No, we haven't. No, we haven't really. But it's going to start soon, and we're really looking forward to it. I'd like to welcome everyone to the first annual Glenvention in 2017. It's been almost a year since Glenn has died, and it means a lot for all of you people who have come here and discuss Glenn and
Don't make eye
reminisce.
contact with me. Don't put that in
all
the
the
thing,
good
please.
times. And I'm really looking forward to day 2 of the annual Glenvention. Oh, hello. This is the start of day 2 of the Glenvention. 10, and he's about to do the ceremonial chasing of the geese. This represents Glenn's spirit being chased off into the afterlife. 10.
Hey.
You haven't watched The Walking Dead, have you?
No.
But your life has been touched by the presence of Glenn, hasn't it?
You could say that.
Yeah. Would you say he's an important part?
Clearly influential.
Yeah.
I'm stuck here.
At the Glenvention. How brilliant is the venue we've managed to secure for today's event?
I'm sitting on a bench next to a muddy puddle.
Yeah,
It's amazing!
Yeah. This is, we did this because we wanted to experience what Glenn experienced when he was at the campsite in The Walking Dead, didn't we? But
Yeah.
yeah. And we just thought that would be the best way to do it, was by doing this.
Somehow.
Yeah. Would you be up for doing this again?
I mean, if we're not doing it in Muddy Field, maybe.
Yeah, that'd be fun. Thank you for doing the video.
That's right.
The Glenvention. And it's been a real success. We had a really successful turnout, I feel, this year.
It was a bit
And
down.
hopefully we'll improve next year and have a much more engaging Glenvention. So thanks to all of you who turned up, and hope to see more of you next. We didn't really want to add this one, but he held us to gunpoint. So with no further ado, I'd like to introduce this next clip. This is Future Atomic Brunette World Zone, and I just wanted to say that Glenn is the most overrated character in The Walking Dead, and Father Gabriel is the much superior actor and character in every way. And we couldn't have a clip of our second favourite without our favourite, so no further ado. This is Disney Wire for life. Glenn is just image trash. Image trash. It's worse than Marvel trash. And Walking Dead fanboys just need to get over him. Anyone looking forward to is his child, so I can molest them. Last and very least is, of course, Boa Man.
Glenn is a communist libtard. Fact. He supported Hillary Clinton. And he died. Praise Jesus! Praise the Lord! Praise Jesus! Glenn is dead! Glenn is dead! Praise Jesus! Praise the Lord!
He's a Nazi. Because the Nazis were, in fact, socialists. Yes, fact. 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 As with most people, I can honestly say that I would swap places with Glenn. Or swap places with Negan.
They call him the Bear Glenn.
Money. Oh. Catch. Digger. Stole. If helpless, let it go. Eating. Waiting. Money. Oh. I was hoping to be you. Taking it like a bitch. Eat my nuts. Okay.
Those awesome fine nuts.
Oh, Mr. Bear.
In conclusion, it is evident that the character of Glenn has been much loved in the Walking Dead fan base and outside, and has been a crucial part in many people's lives and ways of life, such as the Knights of Glen comics, and that his character will be greatly missed from his time in The Walking Dead, but Stephen Yeun's career can only go up from this, so we are really looking forward to his future career. Thanks for watching.
I used to say I lived my life a quarter mile at a time. And I think that's why we were brothers. Because you did too.
To those of you who have actually made it all the way through this video, as it is an incredibly long one, and I do understand what it takes to get through long videos. So thanks for watching, and I'd also like to thank everyone who contributed to this video and played a part in it, and I'm going to put the links to their channels down below, so you can go check those out if you want, or please check them out, as this video wouldn't have been possible without them. So yeah, thanks to both the people who've watched this all the way through, and the people who've helped make it, and just spread the word of Glenn, and hope you enjoyed the documentary we've made.